See, I don't work and my mum pays for everything. That's why she just like gives me like, you know, $1,000 here and there, whatever. Good job, Candy and Snap. You just fell hook, line and sinker for whatever line the TR is probably planting as a little seed in your head without saying it himself. You know, he's a great one at just planting stuff. It's, oh, what's this? Oh, what do you know? Oh, bet you don't have any of these lying around your house. This lot just came in today. Not just this lot. Oh, I never realised that. In God we trust. So these are actually second hand. That's why they look a little bit scratched up. I get them cheaper. And I don't have to wait for them either. And they look much like the intrinsic tender ones because they come out of the same damn factory. Ooh, gee, this is dirty. Yeah, bit of muck around the edges. That one's new. Some little Laminex. Ooh. Australian Rebel flag. The Alliance. Southern Cross Alliance. Oh, that's nothing though. That was the first order that I put in before I realised that I actually had more money in my bank account. And when I work out where the hell I had the end of this, we can get this one out too. Oh shit, there's a lot in this. I don't work, my mum pays for everything. I don't work, my mum pays for everything. That's why she... Oh, same brand. Yeah, they definitely got scuff marks up on the top there. You can see the little bit second hand with a scuff mark near my index finger. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 8, 9, and they would happen to be Troy! 10 Troy ounce. 91 Troy ounces. There's about $2 worth there, and I'm sure that me mama, who doesn't even actually have an income, would be buying this stuff for me. Absolutely sure of it. Yeah, right. So you might want to check your little TR seed planting gossip stories before you come out with a lot of bullshit. Okay, well hopefully the wind doesn't affect things here. Seems there's, oh I know exactly who it is, somebody stirring up people to start a few rumours about myself, so I'm going to set a few things straight in regards to me and this house and whatnot. My uncle lived here from 1998 to 2010 when he died. Prior to that, nobody lived here from 1978, and he took possession of the place in halves with his grandfather in 1979, and my grandfather later gave him that half as part of his inheritance. But he still had finance on half of this place, the half he bought off his auntie, which is the half that I am still paying off. Yes, out of my own money. It took me a year to get this place sorted out. From, what was it? Basically April, the 7th of April 2010 I think he died, and I moved in here in the just about spot on the middle of 2011. This wasn't here and wasn't full of wood. Actually this was here but it wasn't full of wood. Neither was this. Neither was that down there. Didn't have a little roof on it. It was just empty. This was here full of rubbish. I put wood in that. This tree you can see here, there's a handful of it between the bins and the tree. Uncut logs. That was the only firewood that was here. None of the solar gear was here. That water tank was. The house wasn't painted either. In all honesty, I fixed up this house on my own, and I mean on my own. My father had an idea to get the front of this house, there's a bit of a lean on it. He wanted to get the front of the house and push it with a backhoe. 30 years of sagging out of place, maybe even more. Straighten it in 20 seconds. What do you think would have happened to all the nails in the house? Exactly what I thought. He wanted to put skylights inside here. You need to get some light in, that's the main thing. I said, no, the 8-foot piles of junk in front of the windows, once they're removed, maybe we'll get a bit more light in, and I was correct. Although this camera would never show it. But all this stuff was done by me, including single-handedly putting all these bloody sheets up. And I tell you what, I don't know where I got the damn strength from to put these sheets up. This outer wall here was kaput. There was, a couple of straggly bits of framing, and the rain used to blow in as far as about there, inside the building, because there was so little cladding, and what was on there, I literally ran 2 fingers down the side and just gluk, 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 all the cladding fell off. All this here has all been reframed, reclad on the outside, and he left behind a lot of plywood, and I bought a few more sheets, and that is what makes up a lot of this room. Some parts are original, like that. Other parts were just all gone, or the palings were just so smashed to bits that I just got rid of them and put in more plywood. This wall here was missing most of its palings as well. In fact, he had a bit of polycarbonate roof sheet covering some, and the rest of the palings were basically all warped and rotten. Some of the ceiling was hanging down because it wasn't going to last either, so I knocked it down. Henceforth, when we go into this room, there is only a limited amount of ceiling. And honestly, I barely come in here, so I don't see a real point in worrying about it all. There was plenty of little holes and whatnot in the roof, and I had to get up there and do those. The windows aren't mounted properly either, and that there was a complete open gap, blowing cold air in while there was frost on the ground outside. There's also another part across from over there in the solar fridge that was the same, and the dogs actually used to jump in and out of this window hole with no window in it in the middle of winter when there was frost outside. And he was always bitching it was so cold, but he would never even fill up this window hole that the dogs could literally jump in and out of the building with. As you can see here, this is just framing. There was no framing here at all. It was just, well, doors and a chair at each end, and the doors were just all layered one up against the other, just laying against each other with a chair prop in the end, one on either end of this piece of wall. It rotted out originally because the valley gutter, because this is what they call like a twin gable, I think it is, or something like that, with sort of one pointed roof, and then you got a second one, and of course there's a gutter up amongst all that wood there, holds onto a big gutter, which had rotted through, rusted through, and boom, just come down, and this was all just completely rotten. And he never fixed it, just put the doors there. He did fix the gutter, but I wasn't feeling very safe about walking on the roof when, well, a lot of these beams here were just sort of just hanging there with one little shitty beam, I think, across the top here that was barely there or something. I can't remember. It was just atrocious anyway. Everything was just sort of propped up to suit. It was just friggin' ridiculous. A lot of the times there wasn't even doors on some of the things. No, that's not the case. It was just missing the bedroom door. I was going to put a door in here where the solar fridge room is, but I never sort of really got to it and don't see a point. Yeah, so there weren't a great deal of doors missing. It was only this one door. This other one here where we go through into the bathroom, that was a door that... I'll flick some lights on again. This just went to outside this door here. In fact, right there was a tree, and I cut the tree down right level with the ground, and I built all of this. The only help I got was to carry. It was a bit hard making these big high frames because this is really quite high ceiling here. It's, oh god blimey, it's about 10 foot tall ceiling. Oh, maybe 9 foot, and it'd be 10 foot on that side anyway. And it was a bit of an issue to build these in here, so I made them out in the paddock, and my father helped carry them in. That was the only thing that he done fixing this building up, because really I didn't actually want his ideas, because I could see it was going to turn into I was going to be forced to live with whatever ideas he thought would be good to live with for him, not for me. So yeah, I built all of this, and this is a bit ramshackle and whatnot, but yeah, you know, if you want to know the truth, that under the shower base there, that is all solid friggin' bricks and concrete. I mean, shit, it must weigh a friggin' ton. This is solid too. That's my little step, made out of cinder blocks that have been filled with cement in the middle. Come on, kitty. This chimney, my uncle done that, and yeah, I painted all this side actually before I started putting this room together. I put the room on. Come on, puss. Hang on a minute. Yeah, cat can stay in there. Alrighty. Of course, I painted all this. A lot of lead paint I had to scrape off and whatnot. This door was just crap. I've ended up putting these little things on just to line it all up and hold it up, but it doesn't sort of... The door's now cracked, so it's only a matter of time before that gets the heave-ho as well. I'm going to just close this one. Uncle redone all these floors, which is quite good. Most of this veranda was done, but I've done the first few of them. And all this here, a lot of that's actually laminated chipboard. I've done all of that as well. He just had pellets sitting on there. That was about it. Must admit, my father made this little shenanigan up. Now, I built all this too. And the only thing I needed help with was my father helped me lift all these sheets into place and screwed them on, and then later along I come along and bogged it all up and painted it all. Actually, this is completely painted with a little airless spray gun. It cost me $65. I think it's about a 45 watt airless spray gun. Pretty crude old thing made by Wagner, running off the solar system. And we painted all this. I painted all this. I got a place to sheet metal shop to bend those up, but these are just laying around. I done all the roof single-handedly. There's 3 different kinds of roof sheets on the roof. That looks a bit of a ramshackle show. A lot of this is getting light on. You can see where the sheets are without the light. That's where the joins are between the sheets. Most of this was an old garage door he had, and I stripped all of this off by undrilling all the rivets and remade it onto a wooden frame, and that's a roller door that I made up. A bit of a gap in the top. Put all this together, beams up here, all the framing, done all this myself with a nail gun. I laid the slab in all of this. My father helped me a bit with the shelving that you guys probably almost never seen inside here for my storage area. But I'd done all the concrete slab of this, and I tell you what, I goddamn near gave myself a heart attack. Holy smoke, it was too much for one person on his own, really. I got about 3/4 of the way, and I tell you what, I thought I was going to have a heart attack, and it's not a joke. It's too much effort, too hard. So I ended up, if you ever noticed inside the laundry, the floor's up and down. That's because it never really got done properly, and then I got a couple of bags of pre-mix and sort of finished it off. Trust me, don't take on a concrete job on your own. It's a stupid idea. I built that. That's full of firewood. Actually, my father had 2 tanks, and he's joined the 2 together. And of course, there was none of that firewood there. All the trees you've seen in my other videos that I've planted, that was all stuff I planted, obviously. He didn't put any of those in. All this front, it's a bit ramshackle, but all that was open to the wind, and I wanted to make it sort of like a little sunroom, and it sort of worked very well, and it's a great place for drying clothes. Now, the junk was fucking astronomical. People say, oh, you got a lot of shit laying on the front lawn. I know. I should put these in a spot and blah, blah, blah. But it was no big deal because there was a dog here and an old 6x4 trailer there, a car there, and a truck there, and that giant diesel tank that I got the IBC on top of for watering the trees, that was in front of the truck. And then over where you see that little thing here that I put a little tree here, basically right here was a backhoe, and this mark here was a dog that was chained to the backhoe, used to run back and forwards in there. And you can see I got 2 piles of wood. These piles of wood were like about 3 or 4 piles spread from here right over to where the existing pile is, more or less. And there was other random bits, just out in the grass here, there and everywhere, randomly. Bits of 2x4 that I'd trip over, and it used to piss me off, so I used to bring them back to the main stack, which was there, until I consolidated the whole lot onto there, and then a lot of this is more recent bits and pieces. Fence posts and other crap, and a handful of other bits and pieces that's been disassembled and plucked from here and there. That old green truck, you can probably barely see, that was the one out the front of the house. There's another white one you might have seen in other times, and that one was parked there and is now over there. There was another car here that we sold, ended up getting sold for parts. It's actually in reasonably alright condition. There's another one way down the paddock we sold as well. Oh, and there's a Peugeot I had that was sitting out there. A little French machine, we got rid of that, and of course the other one that used to sit over there that I got rid of more recently. As I said, 8-foot tall junk inside. It's just, yeah, things have come a long way. When I had the gravel, no water tanks or any of that shit, no friggin' way. There was one that's since burnt out, and I put it in scrap metal, was sitting on the back of that green truck that was just sitting right there. When I had the gravel for this come, I had this dumb arsehole complain about, oh, geez, look at the mess, you should clean the place up. And I felt like saying, you're a fucking clueless idiot. You got no idea how bad this was until recently. Most of this he done himself. I added a few extra bricks on it, but most of this he'd done himself, this little pathway. I put this here with the idea of putting the bins there. And then the bins end up living over there, and it's a great place to chop wood because you don't have to go very far, and you can get it straight back in to a nice dry area. It was a brilliant idea. And of course these rubber mats with it, because well, sometimes I swing a bit hard and I crack concrete. A whole lot of that's all broken off in there. But anyway, that's sort of what I'd achieved. It was crazy, you know, it was absolutely crazy. There's photos I've still got somewhere of it all, but even the veranda was full of shit, you know. You just like, fuck, it was pathetic. The amount of rubbish was unbelievable. And I know I've got a lot of shit here, but like, he had to take stuff off his bed and put it on the ground to be able to get into bed. Then, to be able to get dressed in the morning, he had to get the stuff back off the ground and throw it onto his bed. Then he could go and get dressed. He was just losing. He just didn't even have enough room for him for all the junk in the place. But anyway, that's what we achieved and how I achieved it out of my own money. Yeah, all out of my own money. None of this, I wasn't given any money to do this. The whole lot of it come out of my own money after I sold that other place I had. My parents were going to give me a water tank. They didn't. And I ended up with IBCs and then bought a water tank later.